Righty.
Start that up. You want hour?
Let's go.
Sweet.
Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Not the Same Presents. We have got Don't Blink, Alex and Oscar here,
Welcome,
all the way
boys.
from Bali/Germany. How are we,
Estonia.
lads? Huh?
In Estonia.
And Estonia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Estonia?
And Estonia?
Yeah.
How are we, lads?
Very good.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Just came from the flight from. Did you said in the car that you came from a flight from Bali, correct?
Yeah, we're coming in like pretty much yesterday morning we arrived, and then we played at the Ivy last night. It was pretty good.
And that was good.
Yeah. Good
Vibe is
venue,
always
good
fun,
vibes.
eh? They used to have a bad sound system, but when we went there recently, they changed it, and it's just it hits different now. Hey,
They
Really like
put
it.
apparently like 500,000 into that
It's
sound system.
crazy.
500,000.
Yeah.
Where did you get that number from? Did they tell you that?
From the promoter, yeah.
Yeah.
I asked him.
Jesus.
I hope we're not revealing anything here. Though.
No, I don't think so.
He was revealing it to me, so
I heard there was a big number involved.
yeah.
I just I wasn't too sure.
Well, I don't know if it's Australian or US, or I assume it's Australian. So,
Yeah.
but that's still a freaking
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm just going to double check. I've got this weird feeling I didn't push record on all the cameras. Are we good?
Uh-oh. The paranoia is setting in. They're all rolling, man.
Wait, maybe it's still rolling.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right, so maybe let's start from where you guys began, because you've had a bit of a come up over the last, 10? You guys have been together for a while, surely the decade mark. Decade's 10, right?
So
Yeah, I think it
the
is.
Don't Blink project is coming up, I think, to 5 years now, but we've been working together for like 10 years, I think, yeah.
And what names did you go under before?
So I was producing under another alias called Styline. I was starting out making music mostly on like mixes on YouTube, and then I started running a label and produced like my own stuff, and then I met Alex through that label, and Alex was in Estonia.
Yeah, I was also a producer, and Oscar has a residency in Shanghai, and he was playing music I was making, and this is how we connect.
Yeah.
And then our friendship began, and then we started doing some other projects together, and then we.
The funny story about this is that like Alex was in a basement club, literally living in that venue, in the basement. His like room was like right next door to like the
Well,
DJ booth
That's really convenient. Though.
in Tallinn,
right.
in Estonia.
Do you get much sleep or?
I mean, it's great. You know, you just finish your set and you just go like
straight
next
home.
door. And then, it's amazing. It's every DJ dream, probably.
Yeah,
Was it at
that's
least
awesome.
soundproofed?
No, I just get used to sleep. I mean, you're just so tired and drunk, and then you just passed
right.
out.
You kick everyone out and then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
But so the funny thing is he's in this basement club in Tallinn in Estonia.
Yeah.
And I got this residency at this like very prestigious club in Shanghai called Mint,
Yep.
which is like 24th floor, perfect view of the skyline,
That would be
like
cool.
really expensive. And turns out the music that Alex was producing for this underground venue in Tallinn worked perfectly for this like prestigious house club. And like it was like spot on, because they went for like this like more exclusive house vibe, which was like they didn't want to do like EDM because all of like the big room venues were doing it, and
Yep.
they also didn't want to go for too like underground techno. So the music I was making, we kind of started calling it powerhouse, which is like
Yeah,
house
okay.
music but a little bit of drive.
Yep.
That's exactly what Alex was making as well. So that's how we got connected and
that's
started working on
awesome.
music together.
And that's where Don't Blink was born.
Don't Blink was born like 4 or 5 years later when we were already living together in Bali. And actually after Ibiza, I think
Yeah.
Don't Blink was born.
In the
Yeah.
kitchen in the morning after a gig, we're just sitting, couldn't get to sleep. I was like, well, this is where the first time we hear the tech house, the purple tech house, they were playing there. And we were so like inspired by this music, because before we're doing some mainstream music mostly. And then we're sitting in the kitchen and it was like, wow, that was amazing. How about we try something like that? And we come up with the name. There's no story about the name. We just like the combination, Don't Blink. And
So we were like brainstorming ideas, I suppose, of like what could be a good name for a duo, because it's like, okay, you need to come up with something that's like, it can't be your own name, right? Like it's two of us. So we wrote down a bunch of ideas of what we had, and in Ibiza they actually have a party called Do Not Sleep. So we're like,
Sounds
okay,
ruthless.
yeah, it's cool. Dude. Like when you're at these parties, like they have this branding everywhere, right? And it's like 6 a.m. and you're like, do not. Okay, I guess I gotta keep going. Like,
Yeah,
so
for sure.
it works really well. So I think Don't Blink worked out in that regard. It's like, okay, like don't miss out. Like come and like party. And obviously, yeah. I mean, well. Anyway, the name and the branding worked out pretty well for us. I think it's like
that's
quite memorable, right?
So you guys live in Bali? Did you say?
Yep.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
Already for like 8 years now, almost.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Do you enjoy? You like it there?
It's a really nice like base to have. Like, we're traveling quite a lot, but it's really nice to come back to. And then like, I mean, Bali in general is super nice.
Oh, it's crazy. I haven't been there myself.
Minus the traffic, everything else is like
the traffic. Is there no like lines on the road and stuff there? And they're just people just going.
No, they've got some lines on the road.
Do they?
They do.
Oh.
It's not compute.
Am I thinking of India? I think I'm thinking of India.
Probably.
The India's one with those roads is just people everywhere, like crazy.
Bali's definitely like that.
They are now building like sidewalks everywhere, making the roads even more narrow.
Yeah, right.
And then the cars they like have to like drive on like the sidewalks like this now. It's like it's getting a bit ridiculous.
So you just obviously play gigs there. Like, what are some of your favorite venues there? You would say.
So Bali has changed a lot in the last like 8 years. So at the beginning, there's like there was like. The most legendary club, I guess, in Bali that everyone knows is Sky Garden, but that's shut down. And now the same guy opened a new venue called Shishi. We were like residents there. That was like before, and then during COVID a little bit, like once like things started opening up again. There's like one very trusted venue that's like probably the only venue still open in the last 8 years, which is called Red Ruby, which is more like tech house and like after parties. They book like nice DJs like Latman and
that's awesome.
good stuff. And then probably the nicest venue right now in Bali is Savaya.
Yeah, we've had a chat about that a couple of times.
Yeah, that venue is amazing. But we haven't played there yet. We would love to play there, but it's run by promoters, so you gotta like get in with the promoters.
Okay.
And like,
yeah, right.
Makes sense.
The big cube on the mountain, isn't it?
So I've got a weird question to start us right off the bat.
Sure.
What does your guys' rider look like?
Oh, funny that you ask. So I copied our rider from Boris Brecher. Boris Brecher on his website showed his rider, and I loved his rider. It was like really professionally done. So there's two parts of a rider, right? There's a technical rider, which is like the equipment that you need and stuff like this. And for us, it's actually pretty straightforward. Like we don't need so much. Like we just need the CDJs and stuff, right? And then you can do like specs there. So it looks very professional. It's like a professional PDF, but that's that, right? Now the hospitality rider is like where things get interesting usually on some people.
Yeah.
But like for us, I mean, usually we have just a bunch of like beers, and then I think we have a bottle of vodka and a bottle of champagne. And the thing is, like,
That's quite the mixture.
yeah. Well, the thing about it is though that most clubs don't do this. Like they ask for the rider. Like for example, yesterday as well, at the Ivy, he was asking for the rider, but then he's basically just like, hey, what do you guys want to drink? And then we basically just like, what do we feel like we're gonna get those drinks, right? But so the only time this rider was ever fulfilled was actually when I was playing, when we were playing in Cologne but it was only me because I was in Germany traveling, so I was playing there for us at Bootshaus, which is like probably the number one venue right now in Germany, and like I mean, epic. The crowd there is crazy. Yeah, right. And the promoter, I know him really well. His name is Dennis. His surname is actually Freitag, which means Friday. That's his real surname, and he's like the promoter is Dennis Friday. Freaking hilarious.
Does he run the Friday nights, or does he run?
He should. I think he runs a bunch of nights and a bunch of events as well. Anyway, so he gave us the full rider, and like we had definitely the like from all the DJs, and had a bunch of DJs there. Like they had these like fridges set up, and like our section was definitely like the most like elaborate section. He like looked at me like, "Wow, your rider is like pretty elaborate." I was like, "Well, it's just like." Anyway, we ended up drinking this entire bottle, like because I had some friends there. But then the bottle of champagne was left over because, so I actually took the bottle of champagne, put it in my backpack, traveled with it like back to the hotel, and then we took this bottle of champagne because it was like me and my girlfriend traveling. We took it like through entire Europe because we always were looking for the right moment to open this bottle, and then it was her birthday, but we forgot to pop the
bottle of Moe or something.
It was Moe, right? Like champagne, and then we were even like on a boat party in Ibiza, and we forgot to open it again.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm not kidding. I met Dennis again in Ibiza, and I told him the story that I still have this freaking like champagne bottle in my suitcase right now. So then we came full round circle until we were at ADE. And then at our own event, at the end of the event, it was like literally one day before we were flying back to Bali is when we finally opened that freaking bottle. So it traveled all of Europe with us.
That's almost vintage. I don't know what the equivalent of traveling around the world with a bottle of champagne.
Did you keep the bottle?
It's getting quite dangerous.
Did you keep the bottle?
Yeah.
We should have kept the bottle. But we had so much luggage already. I was like, couldn't be bothered. But yeah, the story is still there. So
That's crazy.
I've got a bottle of wine that a friends gave us for like our anniversary or something, and it's still sitting in my room, being waited to open for a special moment. But same thing, we just keep forgetting.
Exactly.
Keep forgetting. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Don't Blink's like producer side of things. Like what program do you guys run? Like, do you have a certain way of doing things that makes you guys unique? Is there any plugins that you guys use that you like are the home of Don't Blink?
We're using a program called Beatweek. There's not many people knows about, even though it's been like out there for like 10 years, I think. Yeah. It's a mixture of like if you look at it, you can just like see it's like resembles Ableton, Cubase, and Logic, and all possible DAWs out there. It's just they combine all the best stuff in one program. It's really flexible, and there's so many like a vast of space to experiment when sounds is like the modulation possibility in that program is just, I mean,
yeah. It's a really fun workflow with Bitwig.
And then it's just having fun with it. We don't have like any like a template or something. We just always starts with the blank sheet, and then we just start thinking. We just find the sound, and we're just trying to make phrases out of this sound, and then put these phrases on the beat, or we start with the beat and try to find any sound which is like going to be a top line, or we find a vocal. So there's always random, it's like always how you feel like doing it, otherwise it would be just such a boring having all the same approach to do. So, and our music is really diverse, right? We're always like debating about it, just having like always like a particular sound that we're gonna be recognized. There's so many producers has their own sound, like they're using all this like the one sound, which is like, okay, I know this producer.
Yeah.
But we're trying to. We have the same energy. We're like our music less boring. Like it's our goal is just to create something which is like have like a really nice energy flow, and it doesn't matter what kind of a flavor is gonna be, what kind of genre is gonna be. It's mostly tech house, but we combine different styles in one. And it's bass house. It's like minimal and stuff.
Yeah, I think what glues our songs is definitely like the energy level. That's for sure. But as Alex said, like we don't really. For example, our biggest track to date, I believe, is Vibration. That went really, really well, and I think we could have easily like kept riding on that, like copying the same song over and over, like use the same like percussions, use the same bass, and then just change the bass line slightly or something, But that's not really what we want to do, It's like that song is that song, We move on to the next thing, And that's what makes producing more fun as well, Not just. We know it could sabotage maybe a little bit like part of our career, because of course like everyone is looking for that like one thing that sticks. And then they grind that, They're like, no, okay, that sound works. Let's just keep going with this, And I mean, but that's I suppose like you could say that with any band or whatever. Everyone's like always like, oh, I like the Linkin Park from 2001 way better than the new album or whatever. Yeah, but artists like continue to develop. You can't just like get stuck, right? So yeah.
Do you think that song went particularly well for a certain reason?
So it flows super nice, and I mean we made it super quick. It was like 2 days so we made that track. I mean it's like, and we didn't even think that this is gonna be the one that like is gonna go so well. I think it was released around the right time, where like this kind of sound, which was like a more round tech house sound with like a rolling bass line, was kind of up and coming. Like John Summit was just coming up with like a kind of similar sound, and then this track went number 2, I think, over on Beatport, number 1 in tech house, and then like it was there for a while, and then from there it got picked up in a lot of Spotify playlists and got millions of streams and stuff, and then like that worked out well for us. But the problem was it was right in the middle of COVID. So we couldn't really capitalize on it as much as we would like to, because if we were to be able to tour more during that time and like really like, I think we could have like taken more of that opportunity. So now we're like obviously building up, or like we're working towards like another vibration moment, you know. So we're working on a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is there any other like genres that you would want to delve into other than what you were doing at the moment? Because there's so many genres out there. Like it's crazy amount. Have you ever thought of like something that you want to try? In the future?
I think we're happy with like the direction we have, and it doesn't get boring because we for example we can influence our music with breakbeat, we can influence our music with more techno elements or more indie dance or progressive, right? Yeah. And then but we give it our flavor, right? So I think Don't Blink was like a decision to like really try to like stay more in that realm of like this like tech house like foundation. Yeah, for sure. And then explore it from there. Before my project before was like way more all over the place. I mean, it was even called Styline, right? So had all the different styles and stuff. Yeah, but that just like didn't work out. Like as an artist, it's fun to make all different music how you feel, but like then what is a promoter gonna think? Like, oh, shit, I'm gonna book this guy, and then is he gonna play? Exactly. This is kind of risky, Like, so
definitely.
Do you have many issues with promoters?
No, not really. Like I think with the old project, because if you produce a lot of different styles, and especially if the styles are not like very clearly defined, then people don't know what they're gonna get with you. And then in the end, the underground venues, the techno venues, or like they don't want to book you because they think you're too commercial. Yep. But then the commercial venues don't want to book you because they think you're too underground. Yeah. So suddenly you're stuck in the middle, and then the only parties you play are some weird pool parties or something. It's like that doesn't quite work out. So now with Don't Blink, it's way better defined. What the style we're going for.
Sure.
I heard you say before that you had an event. Did you say you ran an event? Just earlier in the start of the podcast, did you say you ran an event?
So at ADE, there's a bunch of events, that we're involved in. So, I mean, it was at the end of like the Amsterdam Dance event, basically, right? And then we are there together with like a bunch of friends and then a bunch of colleagues as well. We're just small disclaimer, I'm involved in both 1001 Tracklist and Songstats, which are like platforms within electronic, and the teams we're like working together. The guys also live in Bali. And so the events that I was talking about are like specifically events that we were organizing for 1001 Tracklist. And that was like at the end of that event, we were like popping that champagne bottle and having a good time and like celebrating the success of that.
That's a super useful website.
Oh, cheers. Yeah.
Super useful.
Yeah.
Like the amount of times I've had watched a set and gone, where is this, and this, and then it just has it so easily. The time frame, it's got it on SoundCloud. I don't understand the bell ring thing. Does that like notify you when this ID is released?
It should, yeah.
Yeah, right. I might have to look into that.
So the probably better feature to use there now is the pre-saves. So if you use Spotify, you can like enable pre-save, authorize your Spotify, and then the moment the track gets out, it will automatically get added to your collection.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
How involved are you in that?
I started reaching out to the guy originally running 1001 Tracklist, the founder basically. That was like maybe 10 years ago. And around the same time, Evan and Jacob in the US reached out to him as well. And then I got involved more on like, I was running another business at that time, and Jacob and Evan took over like the operation of it. And then, I think after I sold that other business, I kind of wanted to move on, and I thought like, okay, 1001 Tracklist is a really cool like foundation, and so we explored like how we can work closer together, and then that's how Songstats was born. Actually, it came like it originally was actually called 1001 Track Stats, and it was based on electronic music, and we essentially wanted to create like a 1001 Tracklist for artists.
That's cool.
And that worked out pretty well. I mean, the Songstats now is of course like open to all genres. That's the reason why we had the rebranding and everything. And now
that's awesome.
Now it's
that's cool. Hey,
second last guest we had on here was Tom Budden, or Budden, however you pronounce it. You guys had a small relationship with him earlier in the year at, I'm going to butcher the name.
Port's House, yes.
Yeah, I was going to butcher that name so hard. It's a sick club. But you guys had a relationship together. How did you find playing there?
So Bootshaus is that venue that gave us the whole rider. So
Oh, right. That makes sense.
That night was organized by the Myth of Nix, which is like the tech house label from Future House Music. And Tom releases on the Myth of Nix as well. We had like 3 or 4 releases on the Myth of Nix. These guys are awesome. I really like them. They have a great team, and they're expanding more, especially into events now. So they got the opportunity, I suppose, through Dennis, who I also mentioned, to like get a night at Bootshaus, and they had 2 stages basically, and we played like the underground room, and I think Tom played after us. So that was a good time.
It looks like a crazy cool venue. Doesn't the ceiling like move? Like the light, there's like these cube lights or something that like, I swear I've seen videos of it, because Jaws played there in like 2016 or something crazy long time ago, and at that place, every set that I've watched there just looks like it's
different.
A mental case.
The craziest thing that they have there that I've seen is their like techno events that they run. I forgot the name of the event, but they had like Klangkünstler and a couple of other guys playing, and it's freaking insane. They put, and I love that, they like put like the lights right above the DJ, and then they put like a laser cage essentially around the DJ.
Yeah, right.
So and then the light just like strobes onto him, and it's like a freaking like spaceship just taking off. The lights are insane. Like when you see this, you're like crazy. And that club, I think what makes that club really special is it has a really good sound. Like everywhere you like, it's fucking pumping. And the other thing about it is the crowd. Like Cologne and the crowd there is like wild.
Yeah.
It makes the entire thing completely different. Like having a crowd like this, right? So
That's cool. Hey.
Yeah.
What's one of the like favorite gigs that both of you have played, either as together as Don't Blink or as your own projects? Is there any memorable ones or something that happened that made it memorable?
I think all our Thailand gigs, it's just went bananas. It's always fun to play there. It's it's a different crowd, and we're mostly playing in islands, like mostly Kompangan, and it's just such a different crowd there, such a different vibe.
Is there a way you can try and explain it?
It just people just open-minded. They just go there for the music. You know, they don't go there for show up. They don't dress up. They just go casually and then just let it loose, you know, and then you feel like a connection with them, like so strong. It's like a drug. You just don't want to leave the stage. It's just such a different experience. And you never think about what you're going to play. Everything going to go great, you know, and it's, you know, we make music. When we make music, we always imagine like this one place called Holystone. It's just run by our friend. And we're always imagining when we're making music, like how it's gonna go off in that place, because we really love to play this club, this event.
Yeah, the Holystone is quite special. They have like that vibe is very unmatched. It's more about, again, it's more about the people, to be honest. Like every club is only as good as the crowd, to be honest. I mean, it's like it's our job to make the people dance, but it's like the promoter's job to get the people there, right? And then in Thailand, people come there and they just they want to absorb music and just like have a great time, and everyone's like in their own vibe, and everyone's it's awesome, yeah. Having a good time there.
Yeah, that's cool. I always thought Thailand was hectic, like wild. Like the party life there, right?
Have you ever been overseas?
No, but yes, I've actually been to Vanuatu. Yeah, Vanuatu and not Bali, bloody Fiji. Brain's not working.
That's like the same place almost.
Yeah, Fiji is pretty hectic. I was like 6 or 7 years old when I went there. I don't really remember it, but
hectic parties on the playground was buzzing, man.
With the party life, though, I wanted to know about this. Like, you know, you go out, you DJ, and there's drinks, you get the riders and stuff. Yep. And it's there. Like, did you like? How do I explain this? Did you used to drink a lot when you first started DJing, and like party heaps, or do you still do that, or less now? Because now I'm a DJ, we're DJing heaps, and we don't drink as much anymore. Yeah, like we're doing it for the love of DJing kind of thing, but we still have a drink now and then. But when we drink, we don't stop. You know what I mean?
I think so. I'm pretty aware of like consumption of alcohol. Yep. I'd say like I don't drink casually at all. Yeah. I choose a night, and then I'm like, okay, let's have a fun night tonight. Like last night was a night like that. So we were like having a good time, you know. I mean, the crowd was great, the promo was great, like everything there. So we were having beers and having a good time.
Sick, yeah.
I think when I mean, I can speak for myself, and then Alex can speak about it. But when I was a resident, you know, and you're playing like 4 nights a week or something, you know, I usually chose 1 night a week, which was like my night. So I was running like the main sets on Fridays, for example. And then that's the night when I would be drinking, but then the other nights I'm
just
drinking water. Because it's, in the end it is a job, and then in the end if you drink every night, you're
just gonna go.
makes it very difficult, and especially if you've had a bit too many and your skills aren't up to par, and you start hearing that beat matching's going out the window slowly. That's when it starts becoming an issue. But look, we do weddings, and there's obviously free alcohol everywhere, so we're trying to learn to not just like be able to drive home, because we used to just
go
like,
there, drink,
it's a free bar, like. Let's rip in, rip in, get his dad to pick us up. Like, it was a mess, but we still did our job. But it's not professional. So I don't know if it's really different if you're on the big stage. Like I feel like John Simmon's consistently got a bottle of tequila in his hand.
I don't know how he does it.
He's basically a professional alcoholic.
And then he goes to the gym the next day.
I don't know how he does it.
He goes to the gym a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. But so that's the thing though. Like with John and also with a couple other guys, you know, like it's like the vibe of them that you buy into, right? Like they are so popular because people want to hang out with them. They're just like super nice guys. You see them on Instagram and you're like, fuck, I want to be his friend. Right? That's literally why. And the promoters think the same. They're like, I'm gonna invite him, you know. I want to hang out with him. I want to get to know him and stuff like this. And I mean, it was the same with Fisher here, you know, like he blew up like crazy. And then like, I mean, Dom Dollar, the same thing, you know. These are just really cool guys that you want to like get to know and hang out with, right? So, I mean, I don't know how sustainable his tequila consume is. I mean, that's his decision, right? But he said himself he's going to do this as long as he loves it. And if he doesn't love it anymore, he's going to stop, you know? And I think you can see he's on the top of his career. He's crushing it. I mean, like, whatever. If he has a good time and he seems to have the time of his life, fucking go for it, you know? It'd
be impressive if he...
Jesus.
I don't know if I think he's at the top.
He's at the top of his game right
I don't think he can go any higher than that.
You'll be surprised, man.
Who do you think, like, what are some creators, producers, whatever, in the space that you guys think or look up to that are at the top of their game that maybe influence you or you're friends with that you enjoy, like, bouncing off one another? I don't know, anyone that just kind of inspires you?
Boris.
Yeah.
Retro?
Yes.
Love his music.
Yes.
Crazy.
Is he the guy that does all like the live synths?
It's
like the
Jester mask. Is it like a Jester mask?
It's a Joker mask.
Joker mask. Yeah, that's
but from like, is it Spanish or something? Like what style is it? Is it German?
No. So it's a Venetian mask, I think. But like I think the story behind it is that he had his first show in Brazil, I think, like international. The show that he got booked for, and then he wanted to stand out a bit, so I think he got this mask for his first gig, and then it kind of stuck around. But I like in his show he's actually not playing the full show with his mask on. He just plays like the first half, and he takes it off. So it's so it also becomes personal, right? It's a really good. I think what makes him so inspiring, I think, for us is he's doing his completely own thing. He's been doing it for a decade plus. Probably like 2 decades. He was like literally breathing music from the get-go, and it took him a very long time to get where he is now, but like his way of like production and how he's flowing, and kind of like he goes in the studio, he pretty much finishes the track in like 2 days. The first day he creates the idea, the second day he mixes, masters it, and then moves on to the next thing, you know. That's like a really, really efficient workflow of going about and making music how you feel in that moment, right? So, and then he goes out and he plays all of these own events, and to be fair, he built all of this with his own team, not with like any major labels and stuff like this behind him. So, and now his team is awesome. He's basically doing it with his friends, and that's like cool. The most inspiring thing, right? Like to do it all by himself and having built up this fan base, and
that's awesome.
And his music is just very, very unique and awesome. Yeah.
If Don't Blink had to wear a mask, what would it be?
Wow, who knows? A Shrek mask.
We used to have a T-shirt. We used to have a T-shirts, like the same T-shirts with the eye on the back, and then we find it really cheesy. We have it like for 1 gig in Thailand, I remember, and then we never go back to it. Then we had the idea just to perform with like a shirts, like Hawaii shirts,
like party shirts.
Yeah, party shirts, and then we also like.
Well, it fit the vibe when we were playing more in Bali. And we're,
Yeah.
you know, like the party shirts. And then when we play internationally, like, okay, we're based in Bali, let's bring the party on, you know, it's
Yeah.
kind of fun. But
Yeah.
to be fair, like in the end now, it's better to just be ourselves. We're like the shirts that we usually, like cool shirts that we
for
like to
sure.
wear and stuff, you know, it's like more.
It's more casual. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
I mean, you know, a mask. I'm not sure. I mean, I think the animal, like if we had to like choose an animal, it would probably be some sort of like owl or something, like because it's like
That's cool,
nocturnal and like
That makes
it has these like crazy
Yeah.
big eyes that are not
That's
blinking,
cool.
right? So
Is
yeah.
it night base an owl? Is
Night-
night base an owl?
I don't know. Is it an owl? What they?
Oh, is it a moon? I think it's a moon.
I think
I
it's
could be
a
wrong.
Night is a
and then
moon. I don't know who's
yeah.
an owl. I
Did-
think
Do
in
you guys
some
have a track on there?
we do have. Yeah, it's called What You Like.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
are collabs. When I was doing a little bit of little research, and now I don't have my notes, so that research is gone. But you guys have done a fair few collabs with a lot of different brands. Nightbase being one of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's something about Tomorrowland in there.
Tomorrowland Music, yeah, their record label. So collabs is like not like we don't actually do a lot of collaborations with other artists. Like we're pretty like I think we did like 1 or 2 so far. Actually, just one that's out, another one that's coming soon with DJ Susan, who's an awesome guy and really funny, and he's blowing up right now in the States big time. He's like huge, like adorable grizzly who's like the best fucking person. Like,
Literally huge, like 7 foot tall. Is that what we're talking about?
no, he's so tall. I was in the DJ booth with him, and then he's jumping around. And I'm like getting intimidated. And he's like picking me up, and like I'm not kidding. Like it's so funny.
Sounds like DJ Diesel kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Anyway, so we have a really cool track coming out with him called "Filthy," and we
Is it
played it
filthy?
last night as well. It's filthy.
Are we going to hear it after?
I will play it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
And then so. What was I saying?
Well, I asked you what brands you've done, like
Oh, the labels?
what records
Oh,
you've
yeah.
been on and stuff like that.
Detour, yeah. Tomorrowland Music is one of them. They were very supportive of us when they launched their label. So it's a new label of them, and they even like named us their like future for artists or something for like a month, which was really cool. And you know, that's. I mean, I think now they're slowing down their releases and going more for the big hits, which is more like economical, I suppose.
Beneficial
right?
for them.
Yeah, for sure. But the cool thing about their label is because it's Tomorrowland, they're able to do any genre, right?
Yep.
So they're not like restricted to just like, okay, you are Martin Garrix's label and that's the sound because that's Martin Garrix's sound, right? So I mean, we have our own label called Low Ceiling where we release like tech house and that's it kind of we try to make it represent like the music that we play, right? And we get a lot of demos, and it's sometimes hard to go through all of them. And like, but we actually
I'll go through them for you.
already.
Yeah.
No, we have a great new workflow now. I need to like plug a new software that we're using that is freaking awesome. They call Track Stack. And it's like, if for any label out there, I highly recommend you checking this out.
Yep.
This is not affiliated or anything, but like they are doing a freaking awesome job for like creating like an inbox system where you can like submit either demos or promos to like a DJ or label, and then
That's cool.
you can basically go through the tracks, and then you can basically have like these auto like responses set up, and like you can like them, and then you can move them into like an in review box, and you can collaborate with a team on it, and everything is it.
Yeah.
I think one guy was like involved in all of this was Jamie Jones, like getting this set up properly. So I think they did a really good job with it, and we love it.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That sounds useful.
It's super useful. It saves so much time, and then you don't get all these like crazy emails where like sometimes it's a SoundCloud link, sometimes it's like a Dropbox link, sometimes it's like an attachment, sometimes it's like then the link doesn't work, and like oh man, it's like such a mess. You know?
Shambles.
Yeah, so much better in one dashboard.
I wonder who won the Lost Paradise DJ competition. I entered a DJ competition to play today at Ivy.
Yep.
I wonder who won it. I don't know. I've been
Maybe
checking,
you won it, bro.
and I'm here right now.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
And then
Looking for you.
I'll quickly drive down and I'll go back to back with Don't Blink, and that's where the start of my career will start. Going back to back with Don't Blink.
Jesus.
What?
Hilarious.
I think that would put me on the map for sure.
Oh, you'd be somewhere, bro.
That was a side thought. Sorry about that. You know what I'm waiting for is something to do with Record Box or another program where it just uses AI and figures out
It's
what
Record
genre.
Box. No, not Record Box. It's FL Studio.
What?
Not each genre. Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about something else.
No. I want to be able to spray my 1,000 songs into a program, and it tells me what genre everything is. So I don't have to sit there and go, It sounds like tech house. It sounds like minimal. It's UK.
Yeah.
There must be something like that.
And what I thought you were thinking about is in FL Studio you can plug a song in and then it, what's it called? It takes different
stems.
Yeah, it takes a stem. Have you guys seen that? It's like an AI thing where it gets all the stems out of that one song in the DAW. It's awesome.
Yeah. There's a couple of programs we use for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to like the genres, the problem is like genres are blending so much nowadays, right? Like stuff, it's not like so cookie cutter anymore, right? Like even like with our sound, it's like hard to define sometimes. Is this still tech house? Is this bass house now? Is this like indie dancey? Is this progressive? You know, and that happens so much. So I think the way that I'm doing my ordering is like I have these like folders set up, and then basically I just like drag it into like let's say like 20 genre folders, like general genre folders.
Yep.
But then what you can do in Mac, which is like another cool tip, like you can actually like drag in a track into the folder. And then what you can set up is like folder actions. It's like a system on Mac called Automator. So then in that moment, it will automatically add that track to a playlist in your music app, like the iTunes. It's not called iTunes anymore, but like the iTunes music app, right? Yeah. So you have the same playlist in there that's called the same like the folder. It will automatically add it there. Yeah, right. It will also automatically write the same genre in the genre tags, in the meta tags of it. And then because iTunes is synced with Rekordbox, the moment you open Rekordbox is automatically synced with that as well. Wow. So basically by me just dragging this one file into that one folder, it ends up in the correct place in my Rekordbox with the correct tags already. Which is like, it's kind of a nice setup. It saves some time, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's cool.
So... yeah, can recommend someone to try set that up. I'm not sure how hard it is.
Sounded a bit confusing. I'm not on the Mac though. I'm on the.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys on Mac?
PC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Dude, it's the best, man. Have you tried the new M1 Max? Dude, these laptops are...
I will die with an iPhone.
Yes.
Over Android. Android sucks, but Mac is horrendous.
Are you kidding me right now?
I'm being dead set. I hate it.
Dude, you have an iPhone. If you have a Mac, it all syncs up, dude. Your notes, everything is like, you can airdrop files. Like,
so annoying.
I say I'm an Android user. I've got one of them bad boys.
Yeah, but your computer's Windows.
Yeah.
Windows is
so
that's Windows.
No, that makes sense. Android and Windows makes sense. Yeah. What you're doing doesn't make sense.
The phone makes it easier. Like the way Apple have got their stuff sorted in their phone, like it's just it works. It works. Yeah. But Macs don't work.
Why? What is not working for you?
They're just shit.
What is
like the navigation system is terrible. I find it so hard
once you get used to
navigate to what?
Like just anything on there. Like if you've got a program, like the installing thing, how it opens up a window, and like you have to click and drag to say you want to. That's weird.
I think you have to be using.
That's like a way better experience than this like freaking like install, click through 10 things except weird boxes. That's what you have to do on Windows to install something.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
This podcast is gonna last forever. We're gonna start arguing with this person about the Mac product.
But are you different?
No, I used to be a Windows person, right? And then we had Mac for work because we make music. You make music on Mac, I make music on Windows, and it makes so complicated.
Yeah.
And also Mac laptops has amazing sound system, so we need to like listen the music how it sounds like in the same environment, right? I'm sending music him, and he listen through the Mac speakers, and then it's more brighter than on mine. So it makes things complicated. So the decision making is a little bit different, right? He said like we have so much highs on the track, and I was like, no, we don't, because on my laptop it sounds different, right? Now we don't have this problem at all.
We have the same laptop, basically.
We have the same laptop.
So
and I hate Mac as well before, right? And then when we get it, and I was like, it takes me a little bit time to get used to it.
Yeah.
I just because I couldn't understand the file system there and stuff.
Maybe I'm just being a hater.
Yeah, maybe you are. I mean,
maybe I'm being negative.
So the new M1 series like MacBooks are just like so good. The sound, like the speakers they have, the screen, the battery life is just like unmatched. So basically we have these like M1 Max, I think. So it's like the top spec like M1 from like 2 years ago when it came out. Never a single problem. And like everything runs super smooth. Everything is great. And I mean with navigation, again, you can set up a couple cool things. So you can do these things called hot corners, so that you drag down and it automatically like sorts your windows and stuff. And then you can install, like, if you don't like the window management in general, there's like plugins where you just send, like on Windows, you can drag it to the side and then it will like size it halfway and stuff. So you can set all this stuff up. It's not like a...
Okay. Maybe I'm just being a hater.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can buy a MacBook now.
Fuck no.
Anyway, enough. Apple makes enough money already.
They certainly do.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you guys want to particularly dive into?
Apple.
No.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think one thing that's like really interesting for us to like consider at the moment, I suppose, is like, so the way that we communicate most of like what we're doing is through music, right?
Yep.
Like I think we're known as producers. Like that's the main form of communication is by us like releasing songs. I think a lot of like other artists have the same. Like they make music, they release the music and they put it out there, and then that's what they're posting on their Instagram. It's like the artworks of like their track or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, this is cool, but I think like what we need to realize more, and I think like we're working hard on this, is like, okay, actually the music is just advertising, right? Like you advertise and basically we are the product, right? So you advertise, we should advertise us. So obviously like if we post a song and I send it to you and then you end up playing it to another 1,000 people in a venue, right? That's free advertising for us, right? We potentially make some money of it too, but like in the end, it's advertising, right? So we are really shitty at socials. Like
Same.
that's like it's the worst like thing. So what we should really be forcing ourselves much more is to take so much more content and shoot ourselves and like talking about our problems, talking about like even like sharing the process of making the tracks and stuff like this. But all of this is like it's like for me it's a hustle, right? Like I need to force myself, and for Alex even more. I mean he's even way more introverted than I am, so it's like it's hard to like, and even we're in an advantage, right? It's two of us. If you're alone as a producer, it's really really tough because you're not just producing, you're like also your own social media guy, you're also your own marketing guy, you're also your own agent, you're everything in once, right? Unless you find a good friend who like helps manage you or something, right? So I think that's like our biggest, I think, hurdle at the moment is definitely on socials to be more aware, because what we just said about like John Summit, like the reason that you want to book him is not because of his songs, it's because of him, right? And because you see who's behind it. I think there's better producers out there than John, and also songs that are more popular than the songs John is making, but he's the full package, right? And he's promoting himself and you want to hang out with him. The same thing with Fisher. I mean, Fisher's like a Stifler, right? Like from right, from American Pie, right?
He is the Australian Stifler.
Pretty much, right? But like in like a good way, right?
Yes,
you want to hang out with him, you want to have a good time with him, right?
For sure.
I mean, that's literally what it is. So I think it's hard for us because we also don't want to, you know, I personally hate social media. I don't really spend a lot of time on there, so it's like really hard to like create content, and like you don't want to be someone that you're not either, right? So, but you kind of feel like, especially doing it together, it's kind of hard because, okay, what if I'm traveling somewhere else than Alex is? How do you do this now? So we were kind of debating this a lot. Like maybe we should do like add these stickers like on each store and say like this is like the POV of Alex right now, and he's in Thailand or whatever, and then it's like Oscar's point of view, you know, and I'm like somewhere else.
So you guys playing gigs without each other sometimes?
Yeah, at times, yes.
Yeah, and we most of the time it's not always together, right? So he has his own life, he has his own house, a girlfriend. I have my own house, girlfriend, a dog. Right? We're not sitting together making music most times. We're just
cuddling and holding hands.
So we don't hang out that much as used to, because we like have a different interest and stuff. But the music is which just connects us, and we're really good friends.
Heading in the studio, I mean, but I mean, sometimes I'm traveling for work and stuff, and so I'm in a different place. So what do you do when you were like separate for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? Like, should all content stop? Like, because you can't like, because that's like the problem. Like, or should I post by myself and then Alex can post by himself, right? Like, it's like, I guess these are like the struggles. So we're and then the problem is you think about it too much, and then in the end you don't record anything. You're like, because you can't make up your mind. You're like, fuck it, close it again.
I get what you're saying.
I feel like that's a bit of a problem with us too. Like especially when we're doing this podcast and we're filming the DJ sets. Like once I've finished editing it, I just can't really be fucked revisiting it. So I don't really want to create all these small little clips.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to start doing it. Like with this one, I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
With the next one, I'm gonna have to do it. Otherwise, people just don't see it. You
Yeah.
need to just spam.
To be honest, I probably think if you cut like the 3 or 4 like best parts of this into like an Instagram reel
Exactly.
or whatever, this will get probably more views or will drive more views to YouTube than like the whole thing, right?
The
Like,
reels
it's crazy.
recently are like a big thing. Pretense was talking about this last podcast. They was doing reels and they just blow up. But it depends really, because like I've done a couple of reels myself, like for my music, and it doesn't get. Some of them got heaps of views and then some of them don't. But algorithms or whatever it is, I don't know. Hey, but reels are a very good push, I think.
We should all make a commitment right now to start making some reels.
It's a good commitment.
Why don't you guys? I haven't seen like. I went through Instagram and I haven't seen like much actual video content. Like you've got a videographer or like a venue's provided with you with a video. Is that something you need to organize yourself or?
So it depends. Like for example, yesterday at the Ivy, they had like a photographer, and then they also had like a social videographer, I suppose, right? So they said they're gonna send us the videos in like a couple of days once they're ready, right? So they have it.
They've got a full live streaming rig in there too. They do it on Sundays. Full like cameras everywhere.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, if they set up their venue like this, it makes total sense, right? Like it's beneficial for them. It's beneficial for everyone, right? Like if they are professional enough and like big enough that they can afford doing this, right? It makes total sense for business. I mean, for us, it depends on the venue, right? Like now in Melbourne, we're going there on Tuesday, and then we're playing some shows next weekend. We actually hired a photographer that comes with us, and then we're gonna do some photo shoot as well for press shots and stuff. And then,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
where'd you get the photographer from?
So actually, our agent lives in Melbourne. Like Australian agent, and he knows him. And then I looked. He sent us like 2 or 3 photographers, and I liked his photos the most. So we roll with him now.
That's cool.
So
you're excited for Melbourne, both of you?
Fuck yeah.
Our mate lives over there, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
There's actually, I don't know if you guys are into vinyls. Everyone's getting into vinyls at the moment, but there's vinyl shops everywhere. It's like old school stuff up there. Down there. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Everyone's telling us like Melbourne is awesome, so we're pretty pumped. We're excited. Yeah.
There's a lot of good food there too.
Okay.
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots of good food.
We're having good food here too. I mean, we're staying right next to the harbor, and they have this like awesome food court. Like outside, it's like a market, and like they have everything.
I was so confused when I got to your hotel. I was like, where is the entrance? I was talking I was talking to the lady in the restaurant, and I was like, is this the hotel? She goes, yeah, it's down there somewhere. Like, okay.
This was not a hotel before. This was like an industrial building. Like in our room, in the middle of the room is this like massive steel beam. Like in the middle of like you come out of the toilet and like you would run right into the steel beam.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
wild.
There's a couple of weird ones in Sydney.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's almost time to record a set.
Yeah.
How long have we been going for?
Hour.
Nice.
Do you guys want to end? Perfect.
End on
Do you
that
guys
note?
want to end on anything? Is there anything you guys want to plug or quickly talk about or say that's coming up, little teasers or something like that?
Yeah, sure. We're working on a lot of music at the moment.
Yeah, with test driving, like a lot of tracks we made last year, but we didn't release them. So we have a rule: we always play tracks before we release them, so we
Of course.
have a confidence that they are gonna work
Yeah.
the way we expected them to work. So we played all the new stuff yesterday, and it went great. Well, we're gonna fine tune them a little bit, and then it's gonna be a lot of music this year.
That's awesome.
So we got to play a bunch now. And then mix. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Easy.
Legends. Cheers for coming,
Thanks,
lads.
guys.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us. Awesome.
Let's go.
Cheers.